Duck, the Great Western engine, worked hard in the yard at the big station. Sometimes he pulled his coaches, Alice, Meribel, and Isabel, and sometimes he pushed freight cars, but whatever the work, Duck got the job done without fuss. One day, Duck was resting in the shed when Sir Topham Hatt came to see him. "Your work in the yard has been good," he said. "Would you like to have a branch line for your own? It's just reopened." "Oh, yes, please, sir." So Duck took charge of his new branch line. The responsibility delighted him. The line, now called the Little Western, runs along the coast by sandy beaches until it reaches a port where big ships come in. Duck enjoyed exploring every curve and corner of the line. Sea breezes swirled his smoke high into the air, and his green paint glistened in the sunlight. "Just like being on holiday," he puffed. "You know what they say," laughed his driver. "A change is as good as a rest." Soon Duck was busier than ever. Sir Topham Hatt was building a new station at the port. Duck pulled the heavy freight cars wherever they were needed. Birdie watched his passengers and other engines came to help too, but the work took a very long time. Noise and dust filled the air. "Don't worry, guys," said Toby. "The station will soon be finished." "And on time, too," replied Duck thankfully. Duck felt his responsibility deeply and talked endlessly about it. "You just don't understand, Donald, how much Sir Topham Hatt relies on me." "Okay," muttered Donald sleepily. "I'm Great Western, and I quack, quack, quack." "What? Ye heard? Quack, quack ye go. Sounds like you had an egg laid. Now we shall let an engine sleep." "Quack yourself," said Duck indignantly. The next day he spoke to his driver and fireman. "Donald says I quack, as though I'd laid an egg." "Quack, do you?" pondered his fireman. He then whispered something to Duck and his driver. They were going to play a trick on Donald and pay him back for teasing Duck. The engines were busy for the rest of the day and nothing more was said. Not even a quack. But when Donald was asleep, Duck's crew popped something in his water tank. The next morning, when Donald stopped for water, he found that he had an unexpected passenger aboard. A small white duckling popped out of his water tank. "Now, who's behind this?" laughed Donald. The duckling was tame. She shared the fireman's sandwiches, and she loved riding in Donald's tender. The other engines laughed and teased Donald about her. Presently, however, she grew tired of traveling and hopped off at the next station. There she stayed. That night, Donald's driver and fireman got busy. And in the morning, when Duck's crew came to examine him, they laughed so hard they nearly cried. "Look, Duck! Look what's under your bunker! It's a nesting box with an egg in it!" Donald opened a sleepy eye. Well, he must have laid it in the night, Duck, all unbeknownst." Duck laughed too. "You win, Donald. It would take a very clever engine to get the better of you." There's a pond near the duckling station. She often swims and welcomes the trains as they pass by. The station master calls her Dilly, but to everyone else, she is always Donald's duck.